All right, let's dive right in. Today, we've got a wild story for you. It's about one of the biggest mistakes in the history of science, a discovery that changed everything we thought we knew, and an ancient text that, well, seemed to have the answer the whole time.
And when I say wrong, I mean completely off the mark. Imagine a truth that everyone, and I mean everyone, believes is absolute. It's just a fact of life. Now imagine that whole idea getting shattered by one single observation. That's the story we're getting into today.
So to really appreciate how huge this revolution was, we have to go back. We have to understand the old way of thinking, the idea that dominated science for pretty much all of human history.
Now, this wasn't just some popular theory. It was the bedrock of cosmology. In fact, even the great Albert Einstein was so convinced of this that when his own math, his famous equations of general relativity, suggested the universe should be moving, he actually added a cosmological constant to force his equations to show a static universe. He later called it his biggest blunder. That's how certain everyone was.
But then, one man looking through one telescope changed it all. That man was the astronomer Edwin Hubble, and his discovery was about to trigger a massive shift in our understanding of the entire cosmos.
Just look at this timeline. For thousands of years, humanity looked up at the stars and saw a fixed, unchanging stage. Then, bam! In one single year, 1929, that entire worldview just got turned on its head. Hubble wasn't just tweaking a theory, he was rewriting the entire story of the universe.
So, what did Hubble actually see? Well, he noticed that the light from distant galaxies was stretched out, or redshifted. You can think of this redshift as a kind of cosmic speeding ticket. It showed him not only that everything was moving away from us, but that the galaxies farthest away were moving away the fastest. The conclusion was totally inescapable. The universe was getting bigger.
And this is the key part to wrap your head around. It's not that galaxies are flying through space like shrapnel from an explosion. Think about it like this. Imagine you draw a bunch of dots on a balloon and then you start blowing it up. Every dot moves away from every other dot, right? But they aren't crawling across the surface. The very fabric of the balloon, space itself, is stretching and carrying them along for the ride.
Okay, so you've got that modern science locked in your head, right? Good. Now, I want you to hit rewind. We're going to travel way, way back in time, long before telescopes, long before Einstein, to a statement made in the deserts of 7th century Arabia. 1300, that's the gap in years. Over a millennium separates the ancient text we're about to look at from Edwin Hubble's groundbreaking discovery.
This is a verse from the Quran. Now pay really close attention to that last part. The word translated here as expander. Because in the original Arabic, the specific linguistic detail is what makes this so incredibly compelling.
So here's the crucial point. It all comes down to the grammar. The word used here, musion, isn't just a simple verb in the past tense, like we expanded it. It's an active participle. In Arabic, that form implies a continuous ongoing action. So a more literal way to translate it would be, we are continuously expanding it, which sounds uncannily like our modern understanding of a universe that is still expanding right this second.
Which brings us right to the central question. How do you interpret this? Is it a stunning coincidence of language, just a linguistic lucky shot, or is it something more?
Let's look at the arguments. The skeptic's view would point out that, hey, words in any ancient language can have multiple meanings. Musion can also be taken to mean vastness or even providence. So maybe we're just seeing what we want to see, fitting a modern scientific idea onto an old text. But on the other side, the believer's view would counter that the primary root of the word is expansion. And, crucially, that specific grammar, that active participle, points to an ongoing action, not just a static state of being.
To build on that counter-argument, supporters point to classical scholars who centuries before Hubble actually did interpret this verse as meaning a widening of the heavens. They also raise a really good question. How could a 7th century author even guess something so counterintuitive? The idea of a continuously stretching universe went against everything you could see with your own eyes back then. From their perspective, that makes the specific language pretty hard to dismiss as just a poetic description.
So, where does this leave us? You've got a scientific journey and you've got a textual claim, separated by centuries, that seem to land on the exact same unbelievable conclusion.
This really just sums up the whole arc of the story. You have a scientific consensus held by the world's greatest genius. You have a revolutionary discovery that completely overthrew that consensus. And you have an ancient statement that, depending on how you look at it, describe that exact discovery with remarkable precision.
Just let that sink in for a moment. A 1,300-year gap between a declaration made without any telescopes and a discovery made with the most powerful scientific instruments of the day.
And that really leaves us with a final thought. Whether you see this as a coincidence, a matter of interpretation, or a miracle, it forces us to ask a bigger question. In our quest for knowledge, what other profound truths might just be waiting for us, hidden in places we never even thought to look?